Welcome back to the Nasty Work Podcast. I'm Nia Senior with my amazing co-host, as always, Coach Slaw. On today's episode, we will be talking a little Drake. Started from the bottom, now we're here. To kick it off, we want to talk about from the bottom to the top. So the current standings, there is teams that are at the bottom. Those teams that are currently not going to make the playoffs include the Washington Mystics, Los Angeles Sparks, Dallas Wings, Chicago Sky, and Connecticut Sun. So I'm posing the question to you, Coach Law. Which of these bottom tier teams, Dallas recently got a win over New York, an emphatic win at that. It's probably the best that Dallas has looked and played cohesively as a team. Connecticut just won against New York last night. Connecticut has only won 4 games prior to that this season, so that was a big win over New York, who's currently number 2 in the standings. LA also beat Seattle last night. LA is currently ranked number 10 and Seattle's ranked number 6, but they were higher at one point. And then our Las Vegas Aces recently beat the Atlanta Dream. Yeah, Atlanta Dream is currently number 3 in the standings, and the Aces are number 8. They are set to make the playoffs, but just barely. So, posing the question again, which team do you think can rise up in the standings?
I think LA has a good shot. Raven Rell working her way back. Cam Brink entering the rotation as a different defensive element. We definitely saw that in the game against Seattle. She's still a little foul prone. This is technically her real rookie year.
Right.
But when you can get momentum off of defense and defensive stops, and that transitions into good offense and transition offense, especially, like that's a great edge to have for a team like that. And I think if Rakia continues to come alive like she has been and have performances like she had the other night against Seattle, I think they could slip their way in there. A lot of those teams between team, like what is it like? I say in the standings, you have teams between 7 and 10, 7 and 6 and 9 are not that far ahead. Los Angeles currently has 12 wins, 15 losses, but the 9th place team is 13 and 14. Even the 7th place team, Golden State, is 14 and 13. So it's anybody's chance to take. And I think with leadership from KP, that core really coming together, they can make a run for it. I don't see it for Connecticut. I think they had an amazing game against New York, but I think that was good for them. I think they're growing. I think we've seen a lot of growth from their young players in a short amount of time, which is good. They're on the right track, but I just don't see them doing that consistently. And New York, for what it's worth, wasn't at full power because of the injuries, Stewie, Nyara, Burke. So it's like, I just don't see it for them this year, but they're going to keep building. They're probably going to add some pieces. And then New York's adding Meesman now, which is nuts. The cap is so low, but if you can do it, you can do it, I guess.
So you think that LA is the most...
bottom 4, I think LA has the best chance because they have veterans that have been there all the way before in De'Erica and Kelsey. They have a good young core that's coming alive at the right time. Yeah, I think if anybody can do it from that bottom 4 is them.
I agree. I think they're the most veteran team out of all of those bottom 4. Connecticut, the only veterans that they have that are really currently playing substantial minutes are Tina Charles and Marina Mabry. Marina Mabry just got back. Like, it's only been in a few games since her injury. Chicago Sky, we know, is an extremely young team. Angel Reese is currently injured, and we don't know when her timeline is to come back. Their one other vet on the team on Chicago's Ariel Atkins, who's also currently injured and out. Flute is gone for the rest of the season. I think LA has the best bet out of those bottom 4 to slide up to the top. But I also think Dallas could do it. I think they're a team that if you catch them on a good night could easily get some wins. And I think that their win over New York showed that, like you said, New York is definitely not at its full power with Stewie out, Fabley out, Burke out. They're definitely shorthanded. But I think it's going to give Dallas a bit of confidence just seeing that they are able to play Paige and Enrique at the same time and be successful. The critique has been that Paige and Enrique don't gel well together, and that's one of the reasons that the team is losing so much. And I think that was the first game where it really showed that they can play together and play off of one another because that was the most assists Enrique ever had in a game. Paige was able to facilitate, but also knock down shots. It was a really good showing for them. Do I think that they necessarily make the playoffs? No, but there's potential there. The X factor for them to me would be Lee Root. She is a very tall big. I swear she's like what 6'6", 6'7".
6'7".
And she has some crazy footwork. I have been watching how she moves around the rim, and some days she just isn't super dominant. I feel like it's a similar critique that Camilla gets often. It's like when they choose to show up and be very dominant, they can give you 20 and 10. But other nights they just don't feel like it, so they're giving you 15 and 5. And so I think that if Lee Ru has more games where she decides that she just wants to be that one, they could slide up there.
Yeah, I don't see it. I appreciate it. I see where you got it from. I don't see it though.
I love it.
That's not a critique of you. Have a great insight there, but I don't see it. I do want to give credit where credit is due to Enrique though, because I could tell Enrique was in the film room and
Okay.
going through some different scenarios of what to do to distribute the ball and get better ball movement. And that's what we're seeing post All-Star from her. I think is great. I think it's helping the team get better. I think Paige understands that too, and they are playing better together. I don't think they can make it into the playoffs though, because even if they do, I think they're a first round out because they can't play defense on the perimeter. They just
I think that adding Haley Jones has helped a little bit.
yeah, that's helped a little bit, but she's so slow sometimes in transition. I don't see who can lock up in the perimeter enough consistently in a series, and like with Paige also playing through injury, I just don't see it this year.
That's fair.
I like the point you made about Lee because Lee's a great player, and I think it's harder with large centers like that, like Lee, like Camilla, to have the kind of motor. And they both move great. They both have more fluidity to them than most players their size. But if Lee ever could do anything to get better and continue to get better, it's definitely get to that next level of like fitness to maintain more of a motor and get tougher finishing in the paint.
So do you think in terms of fitness, are you thinking more of her needing to put on more muscle or lean out some?
Well, I think it's kind of
twofold.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think upper body could get stronger. I think it's easier when you're not used to playing other people who can put pressure on you around the rim. Like now you're in this league, it's not going to go that way for you every night. And then I think acceleration, cardio, like footwork is there, but being able to run the floor ahead more or even trail a guard on a break and finish would be beneficial. She's just a half step behind
She
where
is.
she needs to be.
It's a little slow.
But she'll get there.
I think she could learn a lot from watching some film on Bree Jones. To me, I feel like she's someone who, even though is not as tall as Leah Rue, is like similar in like stature, but is still quite mobile. Because I feel like Bree runs with Atlanta. Sometimes it's trailing a bit, but it's fairly, for the most part, keeps up. And so if she can figure out what her routine is or like how she is like getting her cardio and able to like keep that type of pace, I think that would take her game to the next level. So I get what you're saying.
More like power, more explosiveness out of what you already got. Like you're using your size, but size plus the power is going to push you over the top.
I hadn't really watched her prior to the season, so I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm hopeful for Dallas because I like Paige. I like so many of their young rookies in that young rookie core that I want to see them be successful. But yeah, it just may not be in the cards this year, and that's fair. So the last two teams, they're not technically at the very bottom, but they're towards the bottom of the standings, is the Las Vegas Aces and the Washington Mystics. And so they're kind of right now battling for that eighth spot. They have the same amount of losses, 14. Las Vegas just has one more win over the Mystics. What do you think gets that eighth spot?
I think it depends on what Aces team we get in the next 3 games. Probably going to get the team that plays two of the quarters of the game, or are we going to get the team, particularly the quarter after halftime, third quarter, when they get cussed out? What we got today, the last game, before that, are we just going to get that? I think that Asia's going to try her damnedest not to miss the playoffs. Right now, I give it to the Mystics.
Same. What can I say?
Like, play with more effort. They're young,
Very.
sure, but they play with more effort, and that can go a long way.
I feel like they have more players that are consistent. Sonia said trying to be a rookie is so steady for them. She had a game where she had 28 points. I'm like, girl, do you know you're a rookie? You're cutting up. And so I think that
she just moves to the open spot and plays actual basketball. She doesn't make shit hard for she doesn't she just reads and reacts and cuts and moves and doesn't stay still looking at the point guard to do something or looking at whoever has the ball from all the way over here talking, I'm open. No, you're not. If you can't be seen by the person you're trying to get the ball from, you're not open.
Hello.
If you can't view a lane and see, oh, I need to cut that lane, you're not a good basketball player. That's just basic. She's cooking people off of just understanding where to go when. And then she doesn't miss. She's nuts. Like, she just doesn't miss, which is a great asset to have. I love it. I think Sonia's one of the best. She's going to be one of the best out. Like, I think people underestimate how good she's going to get.
I truly enjoyed her during her time at Notre Dame. I thought she was really good. I thought she would select them, but I'm glad that she went third in the draft. And going to the Mystics, it was a perfect fit. Like, it's really given her the stage and platform to shine and showcase what she can do. She just is a fundamental basketball player. She's like, okay, like you said, I know what to do, so I'm going to just do it. And it's just like, we shouldn't clap for a fish for swimming. When everybody else ain't doing it, you got to.
2-3 years from now, she's going to be getting a quiet 40. Just picking y'all apart.
Come on, quiet 40.
All right.
Well, I actually need her to get 40 this season so I can get my free DoorDash. Thank you.
No,
well, we wanted it so bad. I thought Nneka was going to get it last night in that double overtime game with LA and Seattle. She had 37 points.
Nneka's one of them ones too that just she figured the game out. Once she figured the game out, there's not a scenario Nneka doesn't get the ball and doesn't know what to do. Her decision making is so quick. It's like, oh, I see two coming there, boom, 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 pass. Oh, I got you off your left foot, boom, 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 turn around, fade away. Oh, I can bully you. Whatever they give her, she takes.
It's not a novel concept, but she just doesn't
really miss.
It's very rare she has an off night. Very rare.
Very rare.
It's kind of hard. And it makes me think that, not to say that other people are not smart, but it seems like a lot of the super intellectual players or people that are just like very smart seem to be excelling so well at the game. They understand, a basketball IQ, but they also just have like an actual high IQ. So it's like, okay, let me do what I need to do. Whereas other people are just like, let me rely on athleticism. And, well, you could do that, but you could also, learn a few things. And if you did, you'll be better off for it. So I feel like Nneka, Sony are those very smart players and just use that to their advantage.
Be an AT.
Having an MVP caliber season. And she's not getting the nods that she needs. Again, right. Again.
You've been watching. AT controls the game.
Literally.
She's point forward. She plays point forward. She moves people where she wants them to be. She gets the matchups for her team that she wants to get. Even defensively, she gets the look often that she wants to get. She's orchestrating under. She's not playing reactive all the time. She's like, oh, this is how I want this game to go.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm a big fan of AT's game. And I think the fact that she plays both sides of the ball, she never takes a play off. She truly is an effort player.
Y'all are lucky her labrums are torn.
Like, she's doing all of this. She had a 34-point game this week. With no shoulders?
No shoulder. Like, if her labrums weren't torn, she'd be hitting jumpers. Then what would y'all do?
They'll be shaking in their
boots. If she can hit the 3 like she used to, she can hit the long 2 like she used to. She can't get up here that much. But if she could get up there, what would y'all do? It would be over.
Look, crispy.
It would be over.
People don't put enough respect on AT, and I'm sick of it. But okay, so we've talked about from the bottom to the top. Now we gotta talk about from the top to the bottom. New York, like we said, is currently dealing with a lot of injuries. Brianna Stewart, aka Stewie, two-time MVP, is currently out for rest. Her injury is kind of unclear. There's been a lot of speculation that her injury is really just Sandy plotting to rest all of her major players until playoffs. Niara Sadley, who is still a young player but came up really big for them in the finals, is out. And Kennedy Burke, who's been on a tear the first half of the season, like literally cooking people, is also out. But they are gaining none other than Emma Mieseman. For those who haven't been following, Emma Mieseman was literally a finals MVP in 2019. She is cooking people. She was this year's MVP of the Eurobasket. She has been hooping for probably as long as I've been alive. It's just a beast. It's insane. I've never met an old geezer that still hoops like that. It's kind of unfair that she is getting to come to New York. But they do because they are on a losing slide. They have lost almost all of their most recent games. Phoenix has actually lost 4 out of their 5 games since Star, so which is kind of concerning. And Seattle, I feel like they keep losing winnable games. And so my question is, which of these teams should we be most concerned about staying at the top of the standings? Do we think they're going to slide? Currently, the standings look like Minnesota's on top, New York is number 2, ATL is number 3, Phoenix is at number 4, Indiana Fever is number 5, and the Seattle Storm is listed at 6. And they're tied with Indiana.
I think Atlanta really gotta lock in. Really? Or they're slipping. I do. I think they have to lock in or they're slipping. I know they've been playing well, but they struggle sometimes by game time decisions, close game decisions. Like, who is that finisher for them?
I feel like that's a good question mark. Sometimes my mom is convinced that it's coaching. She thinks that Carl doesn't know what to draw up at the end, doesn't know what to say.
I think at some point you can draw something, but somebody has to be like, no, give me the ball.
I don't know if they have a takeover person that way. I think Big Al has been the most consistent person to them this year, but I just don't know if anybody has that personality of like, give me the rock. Like, I got this. Like, we're going to.
Right. Like, no, I'm finishing. Fuck that. I'm finishing. I think you need that.
That's a good point. That's something I hadn't considered. I think it could be Big Al. I think she has the skill set and the potential to do it. I just think she has to make that mental decision that she is that person. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you gauge that. How does she come to that decision?
She got to know it's her team. Ryan has taken some of those shots in the past, but it's clear to me from what this coach is doing, who he's giving the ball to, who he wants to be option 1.
It's clear to me too.
Gray has always been capable of that. It's just, I don't think in previous seasons had the kind of build around her and the opportunity to get some of to have the type of season she's capable of, because it wasn't as stable like as this setup right now. And I think she just needs to tap into that and be like, look, at some point it's mine. You don't ever have to tell KP that. KP gonna take the keys every time. And some people don't want that smoke. I will criticize KP's game scenarios and decision making, but I will never take away the fact that she is hooper. She's getting downhill on you every time she wants to. She wants to take the ball and close it out. Even if it doesn't work out every time, she wants that pressure. She's not afraid of the smoke at all. And I respect that. I don't always agree with the decisions, but I respect that she has the confidence to do it. Sometimes you just gotta say, you know what? It's mine now. Like, when he's drawing it up, no, I want it on the left side because I'm going to do this. You got to be in that mode. Somewhere in the dream got to get there for them, because these teams that they're going to have to face in the playoffs are going to be playing hard the whole game.
I think you said the right thing. Carl has given Alicia the keys, but I don't know if she's got in the driver's seat yet.
Wherever she was mentally when she won the 3-point contest, And she
And
was like in the skills challenge, wherever she was mentally, she got to go there.
definitely, maybe they need to put some money on every
There's
game.
money. Like, just put some money on the line.
$100,
Put a
son.
big ass. I would just put a big ass check on the wall in the
Like that,
locker.
okay?
Get one of them big
Little,
ass printout checks that's bigger than your head and your body.
yes.
And I just put her name on it, but the payment would be game winner.
Mm,
And I just slapped that bitch right above her locker.
I like that. That's better than a chain. Sometimes they do the chain. Give me a check. Thank you.
No investigation, actually give her money, but something psychologically has to click, girl. If y'all gonna do it, you do it, because these teams are greedy. They only trying to get better.
We just said New York is adding Emma Meeseman. I don't understand why people are not waking it up. They're not seeing that the team
And the
are.
Lynx don't flinch.
We know
The Lynx
Cheryl
don't flinch. They don't give a fuck.
Cheryl is too gritty. She will keep her starters in the game and be up 50.
They smell blood and come out playing the hardest defense. It's crazy how hard and connected they are on defense. And their bench plays too. Their bench plays hard. I be watching their bench, like Jessica Shepard.
My God.
That big ass Irish one. She be hooping, ready to take my head off.
Exactly.
I'm getting out the way. She coming through. I'm getting out the way. I'm not going to hold you. I'm moving every time, just like Dan Evans was. No shade.
But speaking of teams getting better, so the trade deadline for the league is on August 7th. Today that we're recording this is August 2nd. That means we have 5 days for teams to make a trade. Do we think there's any franchise who needs to make a trade? Like they must make a trade. And I would think that it would probably be someone towards the top of the standings that is really trying to make a championship run that needs to make some moves before the trade deadline.
I think Dallas might get rid of DeJounte.
I could see that.
And I don't think it's because DeJounte is a poor player, but I think like
she doesn't want to be there.
That mentality, and I think it would be better for the organization and for her to get a fresh start somewhere else.
But where do you see DeJounte going?
Golden State.
I could see that. I think Natalie, a very defense-focused coach, I could see her doing some things with DeJounte, especially because Kayla Thornton is gone for the rest of the season. Like she's hurt. So
yes, and that's particularly why, because Kayla's out. I think that could work, and they wouldn't have to spend anything really. They could probably do it for picks and make it, and they're quick to make a decision on somebody. So
yeah,
I think it would force her to make a decision about what kind of player she's going to be known as for the rest of her career. Because not that I think every trade that has been made of her has been necessarily based off of fairness, but I do think that at some point your mentality has to be in your ability to work well within somebody's system has to show. I think she's let too much get in her head while she's been in Dallas. I'm not saying she doesn't play hard or she's not a smart player, but it's like you don't run the shit. At the end of the day, I'm not saying Chris is a good coach, but you don't run the shit. And the things you can control, you don't make it easier for yourself or your teammates when you having hissy fits about shit. Or like I saw some plays in multiple games where like you don't like the call you're getting and you're not hustling back. Like that kind of stuff you can control is all I'm saying. At some point, it's just like woman up and just deal with it. Like, you think Enrique's having a good time?
No, she's definitely not.
Enrique never lost as much, but her effort, like, her play hasn't been the best. It's been up and down this season, sure, but her effort is there. Her mentality is positive from what we can see, at least. At some point, it's like, you just got to grow up and hoop. You can't get it your way every time. And at some point, if you're going to be what you know you can be, you already have, in my opinion, exceeded expectations based off of where you were coming out of college. You're going to get somewhere where you can make it your home base and get an extension. Some of that shit's got to change. You just got to perform consistently regardless.
Sometimes beggars can't be choosers. You just have to play the cards you're dealt. I get it. It's not an ideal situation, but she's still going to go out and give her best.
Reeves is having a good time? Okay. And are all those players better than you right now? Yes. That's who you're competing with for contracts. To be real.
Okay, so we think DeJounte could potentially get traded and go to the Valkyrie. A team that I think needs to make a trade, this may be surprising to some, I think it's Minnesota, honestly. I know that they are at the top of the standings and seem to be clicking really well with each other. But the other top teams are being very intentional about leveling up. And I think that Minnesota needs to do the same. What I would love to see Minnesota do is get another big. It doesn't need to be a starting big, but it needs to be somebody solid that can give you some solid points and rebounds mostly because Alana Smith is very talented, but she's extremely foul prone. And when you're talking about a series, I could easily see her falling out of multiple games. And then it's like, what do? You don't have someone that can match up in the post and they can eat you up, especially if we're talking about a potential finals rematch between Minnesota and New York. I think that they were lucky that JJ in their most recent game against one another just didn't decide to put her like nuts on their head because she could have easily done so because there is no size matchup for her on Minnesota. Adding Simmons, who's also another big, when Stewie comes back, it's just even more size. And Minnesota just doesn't have the matchup for it. And so to me, that's a concern. Do I have an idea of who to go get? No. Maybe they need to go pull one New York did, go get somebody from over.
I think that's the problem. Who's gonna give their big up? And for what?
That's true.
The tag is probably crazy.
Yeah.
The price tag.
And so that's why I said maybe they need to go overseas. It may not be somebody that we currently have in the pool that they could go
Just
get.
find somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Cheryl, Shorty, you got to do something, honey, if you really want to get that chip.
Get Deladon out of retirement.
Oh, no, that's different. That would be nasty. I would be sick. Like, that's the grade they talk about in the Bible. That's too much. Even with her back broke, she go
I used to love watching Deladon. She's nasty with it.
nasty. That's one of the
Jokic.
coldest. Like, she moves so crazy.
Yeah, she moves crazy. She's nuts. That midi and free throw line extended. Everything crazy. Everything just nasty work. Big with a floater. Insane.
Just
A big with a floater. Like, I see that knee coming. I'm getting out the way. What do you even do with that? I'm not taking a charge. Fuck you. I'm not taking a charge.
No,
I'm not. Bench me. Save me.
Hilarious.
It's just crazy.
Okay. Do we think that Phoenix needs to add any pieces? Or do they have everything that they need to potentially be a chip contender? Or just not?
I think girl just needs some sage or something. She just gotta get something. Something's gotta get right. Like something's still not clicking. Coming back from injury is really hard, especially in severe time that she had. I think she's just not quite there yet mentally.
It's beyond that.
So I think it's just gonna take some time. But she needs, like, time's running out at this point. You gotta somebody get Satu together.
Please. I think the coach chose to sit her in the most recent game that they had. The coach was basically like, yeah, Satu didn't play the second half because she didn't come out with the effort that he did in the first half. And so I think that like having that type of coach who can sit somebody who's in your big three like that, if they're not producing how you need to, I feel like that's a good sign. So yeah, I don't think Phoenix needs to necessarily make any trades. I don't know who or what piece they would need. They just need their pieces to show up consistently. Because AT is shouldering most of the load. I think that Kalia, also coming back from injury, is beginning to find her rhythm again, and that's going to help them. But I also think DB could be doing more. I understand that she's moving towards retirement and that her motor and like her skill set may not be the same of what it was, but even a season ago, she was giving us record numbers. And so if she could tap into that, I think that puts Phoenix potentially in the third spot. So they just got to figure something out because all this losing ain't going.
Yeah, they didn't get better during.
No, they got worse. Okay.
Yeah, they got to get to it. It's like a lot of going through the motions.
And I also do think that Phoenix is a team that is up and down. Like they give me roller coaster because they rely so much on their 3-point shot. And so some games it's falling. And when it's falling, they, knocking teams out the water by lots of points. But then on nights it's not. It's like I feel like they are not able to move to the next thing in their bag or have that person that's going to shoot that midi or that's going to get downfield for real. Kai's back now, so she kind of can do that, but needing that to go the distance.
Injuries have been rough for them. Yeah. I don't think they gelled for real.
Yeah.
Because the injuries, the trades, the blah, 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 blah. It's just been too chaotic. And I don't think they've had an opportunity to get the cohesion they need to feel like they're in rhythm.
I can see that.
It's kind of weird. Every time they get on a rhythm, then something happens. And it's not like they get to go on a whole road trip fine or on a whole homestead. Like something happens. And so I'm not making excuses for them. I just think for any team, especially in their first year together, it's going to be like that sometimes. They got to figure the kinks out.
It's a little rocky. I think they're in Phoenix, honey. Y'all not that far from Sedona. Take a little road trip and do a spirit cleanse for the whole team because y'all got to shake that juju.
Whatever y'all got to do.
The mountains look at the benefit to get it in line. We have talked about the hoops, fundamentalness of what's going on with the standings, the teams, players, and movements. So now let's get into a little bit of the fun. We introduced our off the court segment Recently, this week, we want to talk about Post Moves Podcast. For those who don't know, Post Moves Podcast is a new podcast that has been started by none other than CP3, Candace Parker, and her co host is Aaliyah Boston, aka AB. And so, why we're even talking about this, besides the fact it's just a new women's basketball podcast, is that Candace Parker and Aaliyah Boston, honestly, has received a lot of backlash on social media in the last week or so on their very first episode. Candace Parker, not on the Post Moves podcast, made comments about Angel Reese. She was on another podcast and they asked her to place current women's basketball players in tiers. And they had different letters, like, but I'll say tier A, B, C, based on how she thinks their skill set is, top to bottom. She ranked Angel Reese in the lowest tier of players. A lot of people felt like Candace Parker was basically just hating on Angel Reese. They were like, how could you list Angel so low? Blah, blah, blah. That was a while ago. But the critique is Candace decided to bring up the conversation again on Post News Podcast, the first episode with AB, because she was like, oh, I didn't even realize that people were upset about what I said. People are threatening my daughter, saying all these comments, but doubled down on her stance of like, no, I think Angel Reese deserves to be in this tier of player. I stand by that critique for this reason. People are just saying Candace is a hater, that she's bitter, and she hated on Angels. So, Coach Long, what are your thoughts on this? Do we think Candace Parker is really a hater? Do we think she just doesn't like Angel Reese? Do we think that she doesn't see the skill set? Or do we think that it's like a genuine critique? Or it could be a combination of both. You know, it could be a little hateration, the dancery, but it could also be like, okay, this is valid.
Yeah, here's what I think. We like Becky Hammond got a lot of flack for making comments about Jalen Brunson not being a 1A type player a few years back. This is a similar situation.
Agree.
I think there's a couple of things going on here, but I do think Candace's framing makes sense from an offensive perspective to say the upper echelon players offensively in this league are Asia and Stewie. Everybody's been saying that for years. And we know Angel is not where they are. We know that.
Yes.
To then say in the B category, and people have been saying this for years about Arike, right?
Yeah.
And then putting Paige in there, I think is where it gets a little weird.
A little murky.
But from just a purely offensive standpoint, Paige has more in her bag than Angel does. Because offensively, long range three, mid range shot as a guard, and distributes the ball very well, right? Score on all three levels. So I understand where that comes from. Saying Angel's in a C player and then like going as far as to say Angel's not really, to say Angel's in a C tier compared to those others makes sense. To say Angel Reese is not a good player though, or a great player even, is where I have a problem.
Wake that up.
As second year 4, the hardest position to play in the W is the 4.
Wake it up.
And doing what she's doing, breaking some of Candace's records, getting these double doubles. Now, if you don't like the style in which Angel does what she does, and you think her game needs to expand, she's going to have to add more to her bag. She's already working on that. That's fine. That's a fair critique. She always says that. She's like, I'm in the gym in the offseason working. I'm expanding what I have to offer in my game. Where I think some of the hater comments are just trolling. I also see where there might be a bit of truth to it because I think Candace is comparing Angel to herself.
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
And they're not the same style player right now. They're just not. Candace is more like a Rodman, get the ball off the rim, hustle to get every bucket. You know, I can distribute the ball when I have to, but I'm not gravity, right? Like Candace is gravity for the team she's on because she has so many offensive weapons in her arsenal. So many counter moves, all that she developed in her game to make reads and decisions and draw to. And that doesn't come for everybody coming out of college. Candace is not like other people who have come out of college. Like that was special at the time.
She's still the only player in the league to have won Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season.
It's going to take Angel some time to develop other parts of her game like that. What she's doing in year 2 and the tier she's on the team she's on with the like caliber players that are around her, it's still impressive to me. You don't have to like the way she plays. Nobody told you have to like that style of play, but it is effective. And I don't see how you can deny that. Right now, and she has expanded from year 1 to year 2. It's not like she's gonna just come out handling the rock and doing a post mid fade like Candace Parker her year 2 when she wasn't. That was never her role, not even at LSU, right?
Yeah.
But she has more distance to her shot. Her jumper looks good. We've seen the glimpses of her. We've seen her handle the ball more. So it's getting there. Her ability to finish has improved.
I think Angel has improved immensely. As someone who really is a fan of Candace Parker on and off the court, it was kind of upsetting to hear that comment of her not thinking Angel Reese is a quote unquote good player. Cause it's just like, you should never be a bitter vet. And I think that sometimes Candace has gotten the critique recently and in the past that she is set that some of the current players and young players are getting all the things that she asked for or wanted to receive during her time in the league. Like she even had made a mentioning of them getting the charter flights the years after she retires, all of these little things. And I think that Angel is a symbol for the type of growth that Candace wished she could have brought to the league, even though she did grow the league in her own way and is an amazing player and a lot of people's GOATs. I think there is a bit of jealousy there. And I don't think she'll ever acknowledge that, but I feel like that comes through some of her words. Do I think her ranking of Angel in that tier makes sense? Sort of when it's matched up to, like you said, a Fee, a Asia, a Stewie. Like these are people that are first ballot Hall of Famers. Not saying that Angel Reese won't be. She just maybe is not necessarily there right now.
Year 2? Like,
right, exactly. It's year 2. These are people that are year 8, yeah.
And let's be real, there were people who didn't think Asia Wilson would be where she's at.
This is true. I agree. But I also think that Candace may just not super vibe with who Angel is as a person. Not that she knows her super personally, but Angel's tapped into the culture and like it's very much living her life. And it's just a different brand of person than
we like her better than you. Just say it. We like her better than you.
She's more unapologetic. She's more authentic.
I Candace Parker down. I have Candace Parker jerseys. I've gone to Tennessee to see Candace Parker. I've gone to, like as a kid, watch her play Georgia Tech. I've seen her play at camps. I love Candace Parker, the hooper. Yeah. But I like Angel Reese a lot.
The person. Yeah. Like, and I think
I like Angel's personality, her swag, her demeanor, and I'm not gonna hide that. I like her better. It is what it is. Fabulous.
And that's it. And she's mad.
And it's like you had your run in the height of spotlight. I also want to add the aspect that like Candace is a businesswoman full time now. I don't know that she would have said that shit had Angel signed with Adidas. I don't know that she would. I don't know if she would be doing the podcast with Leah Boston if Angel has signed with Adidas. I don't know that either because she didn't put AB in the rankings.
No.
She could have very well done that. And AB would have been in 3 or C or whatever. She didn't do that shit.
It was very calculated. And I think that choosing to bring it up on their podcast, she knows what's going to drive engagement.
She knows what's going to drive the eyes there. She knows that.
I think that a fair critique people have been making is that Candace knows that Angel Reese brings clout. Like just the mention of her name, people are going to click on the video to see what it means. And so 100%. It was kind of, they think, whack in a way for her to potentially open Angel up to more hate by mentioning her on the first episode of the podcast. It was unnecessary. Yeah. It was already on the podcast.
Just because what you said in some context might have been true doesn't mean it was. The other thing I didn't like about it was you didn't list anybody else in tier C.
Come on.
There's hella people you could have. You didn't do it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm doing it because I know Angel can take it. I want her to get better. I do think that's genuine. I do think Candace genuinely wants Angel to grow and get better as a player. I do think offers great basketball analysis, but I do think the way she chose to deliver that was calculated
and important
because the way she talks about it on a male-centric podcast, right? Something we knew wouldn't be a safe space for Angel. Yes. And then they brought it back up to discuss, and then she put AB in a situation talking about which one of those players are you building a team around? Are you going to build a team around Angel before any of the other players are listed? As I got you, I know better than you.
Yeah. It was like, right. Okay, yeah.
And AB, we already know who AB is. AB is one of the kindest people.
Yeah, she's not going to rock the boat.
She's going to push back gently.
She's not going to be forceful. No. She's not going to be blunt. She's not going to rock the boat any type of way. She's going to say,
I disagree. Yeah. She's not going to go there with it. That's why you picked her.
Exactly. That's why you
Right?
do the podcast with her, because you feel she has a similar demeanor to you. She is very appeasing, politically correct, just kind of vanilla.
She plays with Clayton Clark. People see her name, Angel Reese, your name, that are on the Clark train, some who are against Angel. It's all very calculated. I've been studying this a lot. Candace is one of the most calculated, intentional people I witnessed. You can't tell me that she would be talking as much shit as she has been talking if Angel has signed with her instead of Shaq. You can't tell me that.
And for those who don't know, Candace Parker is currently the president of basketball at Adidas. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. It's sad because, like you said, I really enjoyed Candace. I hate the hateration. Like, we don't need that. It's not called for. It's not cute. So I'm posting this podcast. Candace Parker began discussing the All Star game. It was a small critique of the players during the All Star game choosing to wear the pay the players what you owe them t shirts for the warm ups of the All Star game. And so, what Candace went on to say was she thought that the players maybe should not have worn the t shirt for that All Star game, knowing that they were going to go out there and not play potentially their best basketball or showcase all the skill sets, or that it was going to be a super competitive game. She went on to say in the podcast of like how it was unwatchable with blown layups. It was just a lot of 4 point shots. Her point was, how are you going to say that you guys deserve to be paid what you're owed? And this is the product that you're showing, that it's not quote unquote worth being paid for because it's lackluster right now. And she made the comparison that NBA's All Star game is also not super competitive, but they have the entertainment factor of being able to dunk and do windmills that the women don't at this current juncture. And so she was like, I don't think that was a smart move. People have been quite upset about that comment. Coach Slaw, thoughts on Kenneth's critique of the players choosing to wear those shirts during that All Star game and then perform how they did?
I think you're teasing out rather about a generational perspective on how to go about stuff. And I think, could it have been a platform where they could have maximized the potential interest based off of how people are playing with that many eyes on them? Sure. Are there reasons for not doing it valid?
Yes.
The reasons for not doing it are also valid and tied closely to the things they're asking for as demands as a union. Right. Why is this thing a game? We've got a real game in 2 days. I'm not getting hurt out here. You give us $2,000 just for being here. We don't even recoup that from travel.
And I will like to give credit to AB because she basically said in her nicest, most polite way, she was like, girl, we got to play in 2 days. Like, we're here for rest. We're not about to go out there and do all of that. And I think that's super valid. I think that if the product is the product, if we're playing hard and playing well 44 games out of the year, it shouldn't matter that the one time that we are supposed to get a quote unquote break, we don't go out there and play super hard. I don't think that invalidates the players saying that they deserve to be paid with their own. But I also think that it does bring a bigger conversation of Candace Parker wants to be an owner of a franchise. We know that she has made that
100%.
quite clear.
Speaking like a businesswoman full time.
But it's also concerning because I think of where the league is moving and where we hope it to move, that Candace potentially, based on this type of comment or statement, would be a hindrance to the movement of getting players their just due in terms of compensation, even though she was in their very shoes and was asking for similar things because she's on the other side of it. I could be wrong. You can disagree with me.
I'm trying to create some nuance. I think having been in the shoes of others and listening to the folks on the other side, y'all should show up with everything you have, every opportunity you get. Prove to them that it's worth investing in this product all the way. I see where she's coming from.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think it's genuine.
What about it's not genuine? What do you think is disingenuous about it?
She's trying to be an owner. Like you said, I think this is bullshit. I think this is something she thought about. And maybe it did piss her off seeing people not trying hard in the All-Star game. I think she's thinking about dollars and cents too, like how much money it would cost to invest in hosting and all that stuff in the league. And then y'all come out here, you want to protest, but you don't want to play hard. You want us to play hard without compensation.
And that's wild. And another thing that goes to your point of her being disingenuous about it is she follows up this similar statement and saying, well, you guys are playing 44 games this year, so you're now playing 4 more games without compensation.
Like, what did William say? And the players are basically playing for your pride at that point. We didn't get paid anymore postseason.
I just don't see how you make
Right?
both of those comments back to back and not see the irony in doing so. But like you said, it's very calculated, but it's also very sickening. As a social justice warrior myself, I said I don't like when the people undermine the strike and or the efforts of the people, and the people is just trying to get their money, honey. And I feel like that was an unnecessary critique to make on a big platform. And she knew she was already going to get the clicks from the comments about Angel. To then say that right after felt distasteful once again. It's sickening, very disappointing. Last piece on this is people are questioning whether Aaliyah Boston should even be doing this podcast because filming it is in the middle of the season. Coach Slaw and I
Oh my God, y'all
I
got
think this
to.
is such a frivolous argument. We have talked about this offline. That's just to say people should not have multiple.
Y'all know they don't make no damn money. What do you want them to do? How many times we are telling y'all they don't make any damn money, and then you get mad because you getting a little change from doing a podcast for an hour a week? Get out of here. After she's been setting dirty screens and being the handler out in the club for Caitlin Clark. Come on, man. Let the girl make some money. My goodness. I have time to watch it. You ain't spending every waking hour when you're not doing your job, trying to do your job like during the season. For now, at least, we have the First Amendment. My goodness.
We still got the First Amendment. But no, for real, it just was a very frivolous argument. Y'all live in this economy. Y'all know how much groceries cost. And they got to eat way more than us because they're working out 2-3 times a day. So let my girl get her change.
Like 6
Athletes have been doing that forever. Some of y'all's favorite hoopers are quote unquote rappers. So they got time to make music. But she can't be on the podcast for 1 hour? That's just stupid.
And she was a communications major. She's been a commentator. She wants to do media. Basketball's going to stop. Eventually.
It will. The ball has to stop bouncing.
The ball has to stop eventually.
It's very ridiculous. So that was the Post Moves podcast on our Off the Court segment. Next on Off the Court, Joyce Edwards. For those who don't know, she played for South Carolina Gamecocks. She was a freshman this past year, going into her sophomore season. Just recently received sponsorships and scholarships from NIL and different things. Mind you, this is someone who's 18, 19 years old. And what does this young lady do with her first $15 million? She gives it away. All of it. The whole $15 million she gives to people suffering from homelessness in South Carolina where she's from. Are you not amazed? Joyce, you're already that girl on the court. And I have no choice but to purchase your jersey because you're moving like this at the young age of 19. She's like, you know what? I understand how hard it is for people to be homeless, and I'm living blessed. I eat every single day due to my meal plan and all this other stuff and scholarships. I'm gonna give away $15 million. The first $15 million I made. I just thought it was so important to highlight that and wake that up on our platform because that is just, as you can tell, I'm just still gagged. Amazed.
There aren't a lot of people built that way.
She's built different.
And you could tell her freshman year just through the way she plays, her poise, her mindset. She talks about justice. She talks about wanting to be an attorney. Good for you.
What can we say but clap?
Good for your family. Because to have that level of character at such a young age.
Remarkable.
When it's very easy to just be like, I'm going to get an AMG and an apartment. Shit, a house, really.
A few houses.
A few, you know, I'm setting my mama up. I'm good, right? To sit there and say, no, somebody might be on the sidewalk tonight. Let's fix that is wise beyond your years. Especially in times like these where we see public assistance getting slashed left and right. And
yes,
we know what effect that could have, particularly regardless of how a state votes, particularly for their most vulnerable populations. I commend it. I think it's brilliant. Her text is going to look different.
No, wake that up. She got a financial advisor or somebody in that ear. Hello.
Yeah.
So we had to wake that up. But to round out our off the court segment for this episode, we have to talk about stud buds again. They viral sensation. This week, their pictures, I don't know who fans went on their Facebooks, their mom's Facebooks, and found old photos of both of the stud buds, Courtney Williams and Atisha Heidemann. In one photo, Courtney Williams has bundles, as in weave, hair extensions, long dangly earrings, a dress.
What was it giving? Like, was it giving Cambodian body wave? I can't really.
Giving loose wave. It wasn't a deep wave. And the leave out, as you pointed out, was hitting for the time in which the picture was taken. We're
Correct.
talking like Courtney Williams is well into is like 30 something now. And so this is like, she was probably a late teen here. And it was just so funny. Like some people are just meant to be studs. Courtney Williams is one of those people. Because
There was a comment that said she still like spit in the face.
why would they put that?
I had to laugh at that.
It was too funny. Courtney's
And to
picture was
me, the
funny.
fit, like I'm gonna clock you every time. Is as a former chapstick gay in the
Sure.
closet, I'm gonna clock it every time because that sweater might have been extra small, but had that sweater been a large or extra large, that would have been a stud sweater.
It's something about the pattern that was on it. I feel like
The
that
pattern
check
was like being like I'm on the golf course,
yes,
and
with the bros.
got a cigar.
Yes, all the things. To paint the picture of what Natisha Hiedeman had on, this had to be a homecoming or prom. She literally had on a gown, and the top piece of the gown was like a sparkly sequin top, and it had a V cut and a V neck. I believe it was a halter at that. And then it had a flowy skirt that was the bottom in a light blue color, like a baby blue bottom with a sparkly nude taupe kind of top. She had her natural curly hair out, makeup. But the main thing that really put it over the top was the pose. It was giving everybody want to be on top. It was giving very much Tyra Banks. You know what I mean? Like she was posing. She was fighting for her life. Like, what?
That's what sent me because she said, what can I do to sell the femininity? Like what I'm trying to give damsel in distress, pretty princess. It took me out in them white strappy sandals with the little kitten heel.
Yeah.
I was dying. We all come to our own realizations about who we are and how we want to express ourselves at different times.
Yes.
I'm not saying they shouldn't be able to present however they want to, whenever they choose. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the contrast is funny. I don't care who you are, but the contrast from then to now, and just kind of like the period, it was giving period piece with the early 2000s vibes. It was giving Charlie Roos. It was giving the
That's
Limited.
exactly.
It was
very wet school. Very Charlotte Roos.
Right. And Nia's young and outside, but I'm Courtney in T's age. So I'm right there with it. I understand it. I was doing some of the same shit. It's just funny. Like if people Googled me and found my old shit, they would definitely find me next. They would expose me expeditiously. So I get it. It's hilarious.
All people have photos that give the closet was glass. You know what I mean? At some point. For our mass presenting girlies, it's some of those femme outfits. Like, okay, that seems a little off here.
There's something off about it. I can't tell you what.
But you could just tell. Like, it's something about the aura of it. And for the more feminine presented people like myself, there are definitely some photos out there that I would hate to see the light of day where I have on a jersey that's probably a 5X and I have boards set up to the ground. There was no reason to be doing that. You can be queer and have on whatever you want, present however you want. The comparison is quite funny, quite hilarious.
So you was getting Hurricane Chris with the tees?
It was terrible with the jersey. And sometimes I would have on a fitted.
A fitted is crazy.
Especially because you guys know me in real life.
Yeah.
Wow. And I was in middle school.
I remember I knew I had to do that. Something we don't talk about is queer teens and tweens. Sometimes they're presenting that way because they have to. They're not sure if mom and dad are going to be down with that. Not everybody's going to say space. I used to hide a lot behind the fact that I was a basketball player.
Mine was the opposite, that I was a cheerleader.
Every one of my girlfriends was a cheerleader. So through college, what was I going to do? Yeah, some people don't have a safe space to express themselves. That's to be taken serious no matter who it is. And so I don't want us to forget that. I'm just glad they were good sports about it.
They showed the pictures on their Twitch stream, Stud Buds, and were laughing and talking about it. It lets you know how comfortable they are with themselves now to be able to laugh about what they used to look like, just as Coach Slaw and I are doing about ourselves. Yeah, so I just thought that was a cute, fun moment that happened off the court and was very hilarious. If you get the chance, please go look at those photos if you need a good laugh. That's our off the court segment. So Coach Slaw and I have been playing a game every episode with you guys because we are reality TV show lovers as much as we love basketball. So today's game will be Traders. For those who don't know, Traders is a reality TV show where reality stars from other shows like The Challenge, Survivor, Real Housewives come to play this game of traders. I would love to play the game and have traders for the W and retired WNBA players. So, first things first in the game. Coach, who are we casting just to be on the show? Who we want to see on traders? Mind you, this is a mind game. The people are trying to suss out who the traders are. Only the game show host knows who's the trader and the other traders. Everybody else is a faithful, and they have these round tables of different discussions and different challenges. So, who do we want to see on the show that is either a current W player or a retired player?
Ooh, or retired. Okay. Well, I definitely want the Spud Butts on there just because it's funny
Pure comedy.
and trying to be in an alliance, and it's just gonna be pure comedy. Trying to explain stuff. No, but here's why. I think I could just see it now. Nah, twin, but remember she's just crazy stuff. Sid Colson too, because I think that would. But I would like to bring Sid in later. I think, or even have Sid be the host. I think Sid would be a great Traders host.
That would be hilarious. I think she'd be perfect.
Because she could make comments on all the different players and
people that are murdered come in with the theatrics, how Alan was on the show.
Her intro, the challenges would be really hilarious. So I see that.
And the
outfits would hilarious outfits too. From retirement, who I'd like to see on there, I'd like to see DT.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think that would be so fun. Like watching her trying to strategize and fish people out. We hear all the time about stories about people's welcome to the W moment or first time they played Diana Taurasi, how she like trying to sweeten them up and trick them. And he's like, how's the family? How's her dog? And then boom, hit him in the chest. I like that. I think we need that element in a show like Traders. And from the rookies, I think I'd like to see Sonia. Just because I don't know what we would get.
Yeah.
People probably wouldn't know what to do with that. They'd be like, so is she a loyal? Like she has the personality to come off as a loyal all the time.
Is there anybody else that you want to see? And then I will get into who I would also like to see.
Lexi Hall.
Sing.
I don't know if she was lying or not.
Interesting. That's a very random pick, but okay. I'm with it. I'm with it.
We need to fill her.
We do. Okay. Very random. All right. My pick. You took my rookie. I definitely would have picked Sonia, but since Sonia's already on the show, I think I'm going to pick JJ Quinterly just because they are quite unassuming. I think that they could be interesting on the show. And I could see them easily moving between different groups, having multiple alliances. Yeah. So I really like them. And I think that you always need a show villain. I just enjoy Skylar, but I think that he would definitely make the round table super spicy. I also think that if we choose to not make her a traitor, she's a wonderful scapegoat to be a traitor. Like, look, I think she's just because 100%. Of how she could think.
Or they're at least going to try to get rid of her because they think she's going to be against.
Exactly. So I definitely say Skylar. Now, in terms of retired player, the person I want to see is Cheryl Swoops. I feel like she is a super, and I feel like that was super interesting. Like, I feel like
that's awesome. That's awesome.
I would really love to see her. I feel like you gotta have one major big name. And out of the big names currently, I feel like I want to say I gotta really think because it wouldn't be Asia for me.
I think Asia would have fun.
I don't know. It's something about not Asia. I think I may pick Fee. I'm interested.
I think they would eliminate Fee.
I think they would eliminate Fee, but it'll be interesting to see more of her personality, especially in a skill set or an environment like this. Where you still have to be tactical because she's like such a basketball purist of like, how can I do the right thing?
She'd be a great liar.
Exactly. And people wouldn't expect it. So that brings me to my next question. Out of the people that we have selected to be in our traders cast, who would we want to make the traders?
Can I have one more person? Can I have one more?
Oh, go ahead. Add one more person.
From Nia Parker.
I like that.
I think when she presents, she's real nice. But I think people who play against her and have to guard her and stuff know like she be nasty in that post. Them elbows be nasty. Them hip checks on them. She be doing some dirty stuff. But anyway.
Yes. So who would we want to be our traders or who we think would make great traders? So people who've never seen the show Traders, some of the better traders have been people that are just great gamesmen, but also are good people's person because part of it is like about building relationships and getting people to trust that you are faithful, trust you and like you as a person. So it's like, out of these people that we've listed, what do we think would be able to hold the secret of a trader, be able to kill and not be found out and be sneaky, but also be able to play the people person side of the game to make it to the end. One of the stud butts has to be a traitor. They both can't be it.
No. But I think Natisha would be the best one because I think Courtney would be good at acting. Eventually, people would be like, no, if we're going to pick one of y'all, that's a traitor.
It got to be you.
It's you. That's who we going to get out the game. And I think Natisha would, because people sometimes underestimate how intelligent Natisha is, I think they would just cast her aside as like, nah, she not doing that to us. They would not take her seriously.
I agree. I like Natisha a lot here. And I think that she could get along with the other traders and make them believe that she will protect them. Like, oh, I'm with the traders. I'm not going to say your name. I'm not going to expose you. I think she would be really, really good at that. I also think I would like Sonia to be a trader because you just don't know. She's kind of quiet and could fly under the radar long enough.
But people are suspicious of the quiet ones.
True. And so I feel like she could easily be brought up at a lot of round tables. Somebody might point out and be like, Sonia, but everybody else can be like, nah, she too cool. We talk to Sonia. Cool. She's faithful. I could see her easily getting through round tables the whole time she is a trader.
Yeah.
And I feel like 3 is a good number. We need one more trader. Should we just make DT a trader? Just for the fun of it? Or she gotta be
faithful because
they're gonna be faithful.
White.
Right.
And it would be more funny to me to not give DT control.
To see her freak out.
Like she doesn't have control. So she's gonna be like in some shit trying to figure out somebody's a traitor in this bitch. I'm figured out. I'm not going.
Very fair. Maybe we only need 2.
Yeah, maybe.
I think everybody else is too obvious as a traitor.
No, I think we can do JJ. I don't think people are gonna peep that.
Okay. So we got some young traders. So JJ Quinn, Natisha Heidemann, and Sonia Suchi.
Yeah.
I like it. And based on this cast, do we think that the traders will win or the faithfuls will win the game?
We said JJ, Sonia, and
Natisha.
I think the faithfuls win. Only because it would turn into some like vets versus non-vet shit.
Okay. That is an added layer.
And I don't know how long Sonia and JJ and T can stay unified but not be obvious. I think Sonia's gonna get got because she's too quiet, and we're gonna be like, shit. After that, I think you gotta make somebody else a traitor.
It would have to be one of the people that are very obvious that you have to promote to be like, okay, and then maybe people think they've been a traitor the whole time. I mean, I think Skylar, just because it would be entertaining.
Yeah, Skylar would be so funny.
She would be hilarious.
I think it would actually be funny if you had a situation where it's like you just make Skylar, DT, and Fee. Yeah, you add Cheryl in there. I think you have to bring Asia on the show.
Why?
I think it's fun. I think she would have fun with that game.
Okay. She can come.
You're like, she has other things to do, but I think it's only a couple weeks.
Yeah, it is only like 4 weeks.
I think if you add the coaches in, that would be really funny, though. Cheryl,
that's what I think.
Would be really into it and trying to rally the coaches. The coaches would be trying to group people up. Gino would be diabolical if you brought Gino in.
And Kim Mulkey.
Just all of them. Bring so many strong people that you can't just be like off of bias. Like you just gonna have to vote. Because if you bring a whole bunch of strong personalities, then it's really weird. People don't know who's faithful. They're skeptical of everybody. So if you bring all the strong personalities together, Dejanay, Marina, all alphas.
Natasha Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
That would probably be a better show than having some quiet ones.
I don't know. I'm intrigued by all of it. Now I'm just like, how can I create this show? Let's reach out to the people.
I think it's funny. Have you ever played the game Wolves?
I have.
It's very similar to Traders.
It is. Yeah, I played it for the first time this summer at someone's birthday party in New York.
I'm glad we didn't play that game in law school.
Because everybody's a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's very scary. Don't go to law school, y'all.
Scary. Spooky.
It's spooky hours. Well, I love our Trader show. I think that it would do numbers on Peacock. I think that the Nasty Work Podcast's episode was a great show. So thank you guys so much for listening. As always, I am Nia Senior, my amazing co-host, Coach Slaw, and we'll see you in the next one. Toodles.
Peace.